Greetings, it's good to be with you today. I'd like to share out of the Word of God concerning Psalms, verse 18 and 19, and we're going to look at 2 Peter chapter 1, also Psalms 106. I believe it's verse 24, I think. No, it's verse 15, sorry. We find here that Joseph, if you follow his life, being sold by his brothers because of jealousy, because of his dream. He had a dream, and his father made him a coat of many colors. So it created a lot of jealousy with his brothers. Just like we have today, people in family members have jealousy because someone is being more blessed than the other, or they boast about something, which Joseph did. He just shared his dream that he had, that his family one day would be bowing down to him, even his father. What did his brothers do? Sold him into slavery. Wanted to kill him first, but Reuben stopped it. And then he was sold and became a slave. Then a woman tried to seduce him. He got accused there of trying to rape her, was put in prison, interpreted some dreams. He was there quite a few years. I forget how many. I believe it was about 15. I'm not sure the exact years, but I believe it was pretty many years. And even when he interpreted some dreams, they forgot about him for 2 more years. So Pharaoh had a dream, and then you find himself interpreting that dream, and then he becomes sort of like vice president to Pharaoh, to the whole country. But these verses here says, until the time came, the word of the Lord tried him. The word of the Lord tried him. His dream tried him. Remember, he didn't have a Bible like you and I to read daily. So he went by his dream and his religious teachings that he got from his father. But until the time came, until the time that his word came, God's word came, the word that he gave to him, the dream that he gave to him, and maybe some other things that he spoke to him about, the word of the Lord tried him. We are tried daily by circumstances, situations, trials, temptations, our own dreams. When we don't see them fulfilled, how do we respond when we don't see those dreams happening in our lives? When we feel like we have no purpose no more. Say you're retired. I'm retired. I'm disabled, retired, and I'm at that age. But when you lose your purpose of doing things and people calling you, being involved in ministry like you would like to be, and now you cannot do those things no more, it tries your faith. It tries your dream. We all have a dream to get to heaven if you're born again, washed by the blood of Christ. Yet it seems time keeps on going. You keep on living, even though you have pain and sometimes you suffer. Your circumstances don't look right. And there's times also the dream that you have now, the coming of Jesus Christ, they mock us and say, well, he said this for so many years, and yet he hasn't come yet. All these things try our faith. Until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him. What word is trying you right now? And yet, because you don't see it being fulfilled, or you're not running after it. Or if you're running after it and you're seeking things to open, but yet they're not opening for you. But the verse before this, I believe, is very important. And I want to read it the way it says in the Hebrew, or the Septuagint actually says it this way. Verse 18, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron. He was laid in iron. Actually, in the substitute, it says, whose feet they hurt with fetters. His soul was passed into iron. His soul was passed into iron. What is that saying there? Iron. That's saying, it's saying that this is what I'm getting out of it, and I believe this interpretation here is giving that idea that as he went through this trial, as he went through each step of his trial, it was bringing iron into his soul. You see, a lot of us are like this. God tests us to undo the leanness in our souls so that we could have iron in our souls. You see, when we're going through a test or a trial, it's not for us to give up. God is using that test so that we become stronger inside. So we have fortitude inside. So we have iron in our souls. So that we don't become people that give up every time. This is what tries us. Joseph was tried where it affected his soul. Now, have you ever been into a prison, gone into a prison, which I have myself? Bars, loneliness, fighting, always have to prove yourself, wondering about your future. All those things affected Joseph where it produced an iron inside of him where God could use him later. You see, in Psalms 107 or 106, excuse me, it says this about Israel. And he gave them their request. In other words, Israel was always asking for things, murmuring and complaining, wanting something. Wasn't satisfied. They always couldn't humble themselves and accept the situation they were in until God changed it. This is with Joseph. The word of the Lord tried Joseph where it put iron in his soul. And it destroyed any leanness there in his soul, leanness. The verse 15 of 106 Psalm says, and he gave them their requests, but sent leanness into their soul. Leanness into their soul. Leanness means, in the Hebrew, to make thin, to cause to waste away, to destroy. You see, leanness inside of us doesn't give us any backbone. But iron gives us backbone. Iron gives us strength. You see, it's not, God doesn't, when we're being tested, the word of the Lord tests us, proves us, purifies us. It makes us stronger. So when each test comes along, as we face it, we get victory over it, we become stronger. You see, it says here in the substitutes translation, his soul passed into iron. That iron, his soul became iron. It became strong. He wasn't allowing the circumstances that he was in to destroy him, where it destroyed his dream, where it would destroy the dream that God gave him. You see, when you have a word from God and it's not happening, that tests you. But you got to keep continually believing. And as you believe, it puts iron in you because you're not giving in. You're not saying, oh, you're not murmuring and complaining like Israel. You're humbling yourself and you're waiting upon the Lord until God gives you that answer, or that answer becomes reality to you. What we need today in America is backbone. We need iron in our souls so when we go through things, we'll be stronger, a stronger person.